Hmm. Hmm. Oh, it started stream 1 minute ago. Shut the fuck up. uh, yeah, bro. I'm not sure if that's a reflection on me as a streamer or like you as the one viewer that's watching. Like, why would you watch a stream where you are the only person watching? That's kind of weird, no? Uh, this, I guess. I don't really know, I'm just picking anything. Uh-huh, right. This is... this is decent, actually. And whoa, what the fuck? No, that is a zone's rotation. Rare decent Rainmaker rotation, though. I mean, Sturgeon isn't great, but it is what it is. Today actually, because this stream will get so many views that I get the qualifications to be Twitch partner and then make lots of money. Because making lots of money is my ultimate goal. Everything I'm doing is actually just working towards that. It might look like I'm like trying to be helpful and help the community or whatever. That's actually all just a lie. I actually just want money. That's the only thing. Oh. No! Clementine is here to dwarf my plans of making money by killing me in Splatoon. No. Die. Yeah. I feel like some drama YouTuber will now make a like 30-minute video about me. Ah. Easy. It's time to do a funny. Unfortunate the funny didn't work. Will the other funny work though? Somewhat? Maybe? Yes. Basically, yeah. Oh. It's just that it's like I'm on that. No! No. No sunny V. The funny thing is that there are actually like videos that are titled something like that. Usually something like the fall of the greatest Splatoon team ever or something. Because there's been there's been like drama or whatever around top Splatoon teams. So so I feel like I've heard like very similar titles before. Okay. That game was quick enough that I'll go for another one. Maybe I don't have time. I hope I do. If not, then I'm very sorry. Mm. Haha, they missed. Easy. I don't actually know where enemies are, so I'm just gonna like kind of walk around till I find someone. I found someone! No! Oh. Do they know? Somewhat. Oh, the pop kills me from there. And we should be able to walk forward though. Okay. First in Fight Club, sure. Oh, it's the well string. That's fun. Oh. Nice. Ah! Rapid, yeah. Oh, that's blast, I mean. Should have hold to the left light, I guess. I wouldn't call it victim. I mean, I guess to some degree, but like people are do this voluntarily. It's TJ Gamer today. That's someone who's also like not a competitive player, I think. So it's gonna be fun. I always enjoy seeing like sign-ups or like people who are interested in this that aren't like actually competitive players, because it's to some degree the purpose of why I stream coaching sessions instead of just doing them privately, which I've done before. Because it gets the eyes of like the casual audience a bit nicer. Oh, nice. Let's be funny and run into the enemy charger. I can just stay here. Now I can go. Unfortunate. That was a good hammer on them. Ah! I have respawned. Oh. Well, I'll stay here. Like this is a spot that people don't expect. Oh, they actually picked up. Yo! Not nice. That actually killed me. I didn't think all 5 arrows would hit. So dead, yeah. There's nothing you can do against well string damage. I'm gonna jump to the far beacon just because it's funny. And I actually weren't watching it. I'm just gonna walk forward. Yeah, my team got that. Huge. I'm gonna stay here. Yeah. So mean. Nice. Okay. Just a bit more. This match did in fact go to overtime, but we ended right here. Nice. There's nothing they can really do here. Nice. Okay. Let's get Kite Gamer in here. Hello there. How are you doing?
What's up? Making sure. I was making sure my codes are already downloaded.
Okay.
Alright.
1 second, let me set up the Discord stream. You're gonna have to mute the audio on the Discord stream just so it doesn't like double and you hear like me and yourself twice. That's an unfortunate thing that I've not figured out how to fix yet.
Should I mute myself on here?
If you can mute the stream, so like on the stream, if you're like on PC, then just right click. If you're on mobile, it should be somewhere at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm on mobile. So.
Okay. Then it should be somewhere in like around the bottom part of the stream, or like the bottom part of the like voice call. That you can select and like, yeah. If not, then I can, if you don't find that, I can try another solution as well.
Yeah, I don't mind the game audio, frankly. So.
Yeah, it's not, the game audio shouldn't be the problem. The problem is that you'd hear like voices double. And if you're on the stream right now, maybe you hear what I'm talking about. Just like that my voice is double and that you hear yourself as well. Which is a bit awkward. I can try another solution as well, though, maybe.
It's like at worst, I can just rewatch it, so it's not the worst thing.
Okay, 1 second.
Where?
Be good. Just because we leave doesn't mean start yelling.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, I was my old one. Alright.
Yeah, no worries. Give me 1 second to set up the pen. I'm sorry for the delay here.
Yeah, you're good. I'm gonna make sure my other one works, and that's it. So. And the first one works, and
Okay.
Is that it? That's easy. Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay. I'm gonna try just screen sharing this. And now you probably shouldn't be hearing any audio. And if you hear anything, then it should just be game audio.
Yeah, okay.
I hope that works. Okay.
Yeah, okay, but I made sure to download both the codes last week, so...
Yeah. I have both of them downloaded as well. So that's no worries. Okay. First of all, before we get into these codes, I was just curious about this. You like you ha aren't like a part of the competitive community, right? So you haven't been on a team or something?
I was on a team, but they disbanded, and I
Oh,
had
okay.
like one tournament experience, but it wasn't a big tournament or anything.
Oh, I see.
So
Um,
I'm still around the learning curve.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. How long have you been kind of on that team? Just out of complete curiosity.
I want to say it was like a couple months, and while I was in that team, I was in the little squid league. I think it was for a
Mm-hmm.
tournament.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it's like a monthly thing for like low level
Yep.
players.
Yeah, yeah, I know what LSL is.
All
Okay.
right.
That's cool. Yeah. Um,
It's
okay.
like I'm trying to play what's good, but honestly, it just like I tried playing Mints, and I haven't played it in so long to the point where it did not click with me. Right.
Okay. Um, mm-hmm. Yeah, that tends to happen. If you haven't
Yeah.
played a weapon for a while, or you pick up a new weapon or something like that, it's relatively normal that it like doesn't click at the start, and that you need a while to configure everything or like to get used to how the weapon plays. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't worry about that too much.
Yeah. The rush has got to be there.
Wait, sorry, can you say that again?
The rust is showing when you pull out something you haven't used for a while.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Um, this is from like Anarchy Open, right?
Oh yes, open.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Out
I'm
of
not
cu
on. It's
Go
just
ahead.
me by myself, so I don't know anything about
Mm-hmm.
what these guys' thought processes
Yeah,
are.
okay. Um, okay. I guess we can get into it. First thing, I usually try like looking at is just the kind of weapon compositions that we have over here. You
I
are
mean,
able to see the pen, right? Just like
yeah,
the
no
drawing.
pen, but at the same time, custom leaders scary to face, especially the scope and the Steckle fin is probably one of the better ones, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hence, but it's on Founder, which isn't really the best charge map.
Mm, yeah, it depends. If the enemy team kind of has, wait 1 second. If the enemy team kind of has a lot of this top mid control, so if they have like all of this,
Yeah,
and you're
if
just
they're
trying
on
to
the
get back in,
rooftop,
then it's
yeah,
Charger can be really oppressive on this map.
yeah.
Just
Sorry to
because
cut
there's
you off.
little sidelines. But it is
Yeah,
definitely
Flounder is
important.
yeah, Flounder is a more is a heavy edit type map.
Hmm.
I tried pulling out Dynamo in that map in Humpbacker on rotation, and it hardly really goes well.
Yeah. I mean, Dynamo is really funny on this map, but it is also not the easiest to get the hang of just because of how long the weapon basically takes to actually fire a shot. Okay, but yeah, the enemy team has a really awkward comp. Um,
Yeah, it's open, so
yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
not like it's Sendo Q
Hmm.
or
Yeah,
it's not Sendo Q or anything. It's literally Anarchy open.
yep. Yeah, and that tends to happen quite a lot in open. Maybe they're actually like, or at least some of these players are in a team together and they're just like having fun, just trying to get as many strikes or whatever. Um,
Yeah, I know I've done that a few times. Like I would plot custom YouTuber and just screw around with the thing for a little bit.
yeah, definitely. Just in terms of how we want to play this, if we actually just want to play to win, um, we are gonna have to watch out a lot for the sidelines that the two chargers are trying to cover. If they play well, then they'll try to usually be in different positions. So from the kind of map that we can see right here, maybe one of them is like kind of standing over here, and one of them is also standing like over here somewhere,
I can
somewhere
I
around
can
that.
also, that little wall that you see right underneath the slosher thingy. I can see a good charger plane just absolutely just
This right here.
terrorizing everyone on that. No, a little bit more up.
Um,
Yeah,
oh, like just on the top, like here, what we can't really perfectly
yes,
see anymore. Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a good charger plane just terrorizing everyone. Frankly,
Yeah, definitely. That's what tends to happen with good charter players a lot, is that they terrorize the lobby. Um, but yeah, definitely like if you're trying to get back in and there's a like charger on high ground over here, that's gonna be tough to deal with. Especially if the two chargers are kind of in like very different positions.
to get yes,
Um, yeah. Um, and then the in terms of fighting, you have really nice matchups in this game because for Luna Blaster, like into a Neo Splash, you have a like positive matchup. Um, I usually don't like talking about like matchups that much, but in this case, I think it's valuable just because your weapon is
yeah,
a lot
because
better at fighting than the enemy's is.
the sploosh is just there for paint because Luna and
Yeah,
Sasha can't paint that much.
yeah. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was talking about like the enemy splashes in that like
Yeah,
you can 1v1 then relatively
boy,
easily in knowledge that you have a way better hitbox, and have a way easier time like hopefully at least trading them, and usually probably more than that. And then against the Chargers, I think it'll probably mostly be to like try to play under ledges or around sidelines where they can't see you.
yeah,
Let's
I
get into
try to
this though.
poke him a little bit in this match.
Yeah. Okay.
And I actually don't paint the wall because they can see it on the map, just in case if you don't need.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Um, I'm I'm wondering if that's worth it. In this specific case, I like the idea to like specifically not paint this flank that you're taking to make enemies wonder if you're actually going there or not. Um, or like if they check the map, they don't have the knowledge that you're there. Um,
Because if
in
they look for like maybe a second or two, not really long.
yeah. hmm Um, I think okay. First thing I think about with that approach is to kind of try to go around here because then enemies could realistically think that you're trying to take the ink rail, but you're still kind of dropping off here, and that's a bit faster probably. Um,
Yeah, I would feel the faster version.
yeah. The other part is kind
The
of
rail
that,
is
yeah. The
a
other kind
hard
of
question.
part is that if enemies are like kind of watching out, then they'll still be able to like either see this patch of paint or just generally be wary of someone coming up from this ledge. That's what tends to happen in like higher level
Yeah,
lobbies a lot. Oh, sorry for that.
yeah. I'm in B, so I was
hmm
in S last, and I had just bad time, so
Yeah, that makes sense. hmm
I ended up just losing it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just that's man. I was in X once, but I didn't. I hardly had a chance to play my. Hardly had any time to play my placement matches because it was the end of the season. At that
Yeah,
point, I just good.
yeah. Um, and like it's good to just play at the rank where you feel like you're having the most fun and like the most competitive matches in a way. Um,
Yeah, because that normal battles are just uh, mixed bag.
mhm,
It's the best way I can safely put it.
yeah. Okay. Um, yeah. I think for this flank, at least in my opinion, it's it's more important to be fast than to go for like the more stealthy route of like walking instead of painting this. That being said, like if it works at the rank where you're playing at, and if it helps, like instead of going fast to do that in a way where enemies don't suspect that you're going there, then yeah, do it. As long as it works, that's the most important part. The kind of concern, like where I'm coming from, is that I'd expect like at least one player to kind of go to the grades right here, and from there you can very easily see people who are climbing up this wall and punish them. I don't think that ends up happening here, but that's something that I'd expect at higher levels at least.
Mm.
Yeah, but again, as long as it works for you, it's fine. Okay, we're kind of just waiting for an opportunity here. Sure. Trading here is fine. Don't really... Like, that's kind of what Luna as a weapon is really good at, right? It's just kind of going in and trading someone. Because the hitbox is so big. Okay. I think we need to watch out a bit for, like, our approaches. We...
Yeah.
We kind of tried to take the exact same approach here again. And we need to watch out in
Yeah,
situations like... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the surge was not the play right there. I think just I want to say sharking right there.
Yeah, for sure. That's honestly a general thing. Squid surging up lattice is not that effective actually, because you kind of propel yourself into the air a lot, right? Just being in a squid surge means that you go very high up in the air, and being in the air is actually a very weak state in this game. You pretty much like have more control in pretty much any other state, unless you're like completely surrounded by enemy ink and without any ink tank. You're better off just being on the ground in your own ink, because in your own ink you can move around like really fast and really precisely, right?
Yeah.
And that's why generally like a lot of Splatoon movement will be to try to just maximize the amount of time that you spend in your ink, as opposed to like being in kid form or like jumping or like being in the air. Which is why like these kind of squid surges actually do a bit more harm than good.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
especially on the map it's on too.
Yeah. To be fair, this map is a map that really encourages squid surging because it's a vertical, and because it's a really easy to conclusion to come to. Like, this is a big wall. I'm gonna use this new movement ability to climb it up fast. But in the end, just spamming B is way faster and like way safer.
Yeah, I think they heard it more than what they saw.
Yeah, that as well. So it's also louder, which is another part of it. But like if we watch this back, you can see like from this point onwards they can see you, right? Because like you're
Yeah.
above the ledge. Um, from like at this point they can see you, and notice how only at this point you can actually move around, or like
Yeah.
actually impact where you want to move. And that amount of time is very impactful in Splatoon. This game is a game where every tiny fraction of a second matters, especially with something like movement. And just kind of being like to some degree also just being so high in the air is a big warning signal to them, as opposed to just like kind of trying to silently hop
And
over the ledge. And at that point, there's just 3 people staring at you, which is always a rough situation to be in. And something we want to avoid as much as possible. So yeah, I think I agree with what you brought up like a minute ago or something, which is that like the better play would have been to shark there, to like either stay on the ledge or to maybe like go somewhere around the ledges that we have down here on the bottom left, and kind of try to get an opportunity there. Okay. Your team gets some really nice picks, which allows us to move up quite far here. Okay.
Brief. Oh, Hydro's just used his special. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think a better idea for this stamp would have been to use it, like, to clear out the players on the right over here.
I didn't realize there was anybody on the right, so I just took.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. That kind of goes into a larger topic of what we call awareness. Of being aware basically where enemies are, where your teammates are, what kind of options you have, all that kind of stuff. And that's like one of the major areas basically that as a competitive player, like I and like every competitive player tries to improve in.
Like Dance hitbox is bigger, but it's still not guaranteed, especially if they're literally looking right at you.
Oh yeah. For Hammer, yeah,
Sometimes you
exactly.
can get sometimes you can get the pick if they're not paying attention 100%, but most times they're lost and looking.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like Hammer is especially if you throw it, is a lot easier when the enemies are already distracted. Just because then they don't really have time to like move outside of the area where it's gonna explode. If like the enemy is already fighting someone else, then you might also have chip damage to work off because Hammer now does 60 damage consistently. So if like any kind of teammates of you like somehow tag the enemy, that'll probably kill them. So like as just general advice for Hammer, it's a lot better when there are other things going on the map, when your teammates are already in a fight with someone, stuff like that. Yeah, something that I wanted to bring up is the kind of awareness of like being aware that there are players like on our right over here, like being aware that like this splash
Yes.
is over here and
I'm
that
not.
probably people are gonna run up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I see the Hydra firing at someone, and I stay over there just in case they climb over the wall.
Yeah, and that's good. It's really good that you see like the Hydra is firing somewhere. That probably means that there's an enemy there. So that's really good that you recognize that. Another idea could have just also been to run in, to just kind of walk forward into the area where your Hydra is shooting at, because you know that it's going to be a weapon like, because it's definitely one of these weapons, you know it's probably a relatively easy fight. Um,
Yeah.
but then again, I also don't hate like just trying to play this defensive over here. Um, yeah. And then at this point, I don't think we see the rest of the enemy team kind of move up. Yeah.
We have. I see them.
It's good that you follow up there. It could have been a bit faster, but it's like nevertheless good that it happens.
It. No one. I was about to say, I try to always hide on like unmarked points like this for like a little bit of time because no one really looks. From what I've
Okay.
seen a lot in open solo queue, no one ever looks at the painted stuff or the non-painted
Yeah.
tiles.
To some degree, that's true. I'll also say that that will change when
It's a-
you climb into higher ranks.
yes, I
Um,
have seen that. I've seen that from time to time. Yeah.
yeah.
In fact, I've gotten punished. Like I would say, I would get caught out for it if you want.
Yeah. Because what's weird about this is like if people realize that you're here, it's not that difficult for them to punish you, right? Because you're kind of on this
Yeah,
uninkable surface where you can't really move that fast. You don't really have any options to like to move fast, and it's like It's not that difficult to see you technically. So fun part is that this is glass right here, and you can see through that, and enemies could, in theory, also see through that and see you. Um,
Yeah.
so that's why this spot is a bit awkward. Something that I want to encourage is just sharking in your ink. Um, because especially if you shark in really weird spots, because like this spot is right there. Sharking in your ink is way safer basically than trying to shark on uninkables. Um, the only kind of upside of being on uninkables would be that sometimes enemies don't look at it and they kind of paint like maybe paint over this, but don't realize that there could be someone on the uninkable as well. But that's really rare. Sometimes you just want to hide under ledges, not technically on this map, but like on other maps you can get really close under ledges, and those ledges just
Like,
then are uninkable.
yeah, yeah, Mako Mount's a really good example of that. Where
Yeah.
you can
hmm
just maybe set up a beacon there and they don't pay attention. You could
Yeah,
just give you beacon right there.
exactly. So Mechamart, kind of, I guess in the freezer, the some ledges are uninkable, I think. Um, yeah.
I mean, it was just the first map that came into my head. That
Yeah.
just
Yeah, but it's true. Yeah. And
okay.
on
If they're
those
not
maps,
gonna
kind of
destroy
being,
it,
mhm. And on those maps, just kind
if
of
they're not
being
gonna,
there means being kind of safe from enemy vision. We can actually, it's on this map as well, this kind of uninkable spot right here. Um, if you like hide in this corner specifically, like not in this situation. In this situation, that would be a very bad idea because you'd get shot way before you get there. Um, but in an imaginary situation where you could get there safely and without being seen, sharking in this kind of corner is a good idea because enemies can't really see it because they're going to respawn from here, and they'll not be able to look under this ledge where you are just because the ledge is in the
yep.
way.
Funnily enough, we actually had a knockout where I just stayed right there for a bit, almost swiped, and I was like, I can get the last 4 points.
hmm
So that's
yeah.
what actually did work out right there for a minute.
hmm Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
Um, yeah, we kind of leave this spot. Yeah, again, like, um, in spaces like this, I think it's better to just shark in your ink because that's a space where people just actually can't see you flat out. They'll just see the ink on the ground, and at higher levels, people will realize that that's a warning signal. Um, and like maybe there's someone sharking there. Um, maybe at those level,
Yeah,
like in kind of B rank, that's not quite there yet.
like I try whatever sub I have, I throw like a bomb at it,
Yeah.
like a pointer
hmm
to whatever sub I'm using.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like throwable and not a deployable.
Yeah, and that's a really good intuition. Um, because sharking in this game is really strong. Um, it's like, especially if you have a lot of paint on the map, it can be really, really impactful to just kind of sit
I
somewhere and
mean, we
have the
don't have
enemy
a
be scared
crazy
about
amount
you
of paint.
sharking.
I mean, talking about paint, we don't have a crazy amount, but still a good chunk all over the map. It's not crazy, but it's still workable.
Yeah,
Just looking at this situation here.
yeah, exactly. It makes sense, like, the enemies have two splashes, they're gonna paint a lot. Um, but at the same time, your team
The
also
neon
has
splashes are gonna
decent enough paint.
at the same time though, the neon splashes are gonna have to fight
Yeah,
um
exactly.
than a bucket. So.
Yeah, and that's what makes this a bit difficult for them, because exactly the game isn't just which weapons can paint more. The game is a bit deeper than that, which is a good thing. Because
It's
like
just they
as your
just
comp, you can just decide to fight them a lot, and they're not gonna be good at fighting, so they're gonna struggle a lot with like just having a lot of downtime because they're either dead a lot or they're gonna have to play really safe a lot, and that impacts their ability to paint the map as much as they'd want to. Yeah, okay.
I thought I had seen someone coming up.
Yeah. Good job recognizing that there was someone like behind you there. And
And then I just looked and stamp on the. I've learned that stamp on just anything, it just does not work.
Stamp is weird, definitely. So the interesting thing with Stamp is that as soon as someone is kind of next to you or behind you, you're really vulnerable. And like
Yeah,
you're a really easy target there.
more often than not, I would sometimes randomly just get shot down underneath by, like, say, a Hydra or a Heavy from the front. So stamp is just the throw
Yeah.
mode's always been consistent. The problem has always been the rush mode.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
pretty
that's
much.
why I try to learn to throw it more often because I would always just straight up just run in with it.
Yeah. There are a lot of cases where the rush mode is really good as well. It
And
is,
Rainmaker.
yeah, for example, like Rainmaker to pop the shield, exactly. Um,
I know I would use pop out Wellstring every once in a while
mhm,
just for that specifically.
yeah. Um, it's,
I can't really get the insta pop combo, so that's something I'm gonna have to work on.
yeah. It's,
Yeah, I saw the cut you off.
it's useful, but at the same time, it's not like super relevant. Um,
Yeah.
it's good to like be able to know it in theory. Like the idea is you throw an auto bomb before the Rainmaker field explodes, and then kind of arc your shots in a way that multiple of them hit at the same time when the field actually like starts appearing. But again, your like your object damage on Wellstring is good enough that you'll usually be able to pop the shield without any trouble, anyways.
I even on the custom kit I will object shredder. In fact, I will
Mm.
object shredder on both woe strings. So I'm like I'm not jumping in, so I might as well should use my shoe ability.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, some thoughts on like how you can use hammer a bit safer, or like especially the rush mode, how you can be a bit safer
Yeah,
with
I
that.
try to turn around here, but I get shot.
Yeah, and that's what you have to watch out for with hammer. It's just as soon as anyone is behind you, you're basically dead. Um,
Because yeah, turning around is
I'm gonna go in the lobby real quick. Um, there's a few techniques that I want to show there. The first thing that I want to bring up is basically that kind of in a very narrow space, hammer is a lot stronger. Just give me like special chart or whatever. So like think of, for example, like the sites on Hagelfish Market. Those are really like small, really slim, and because of that, hammer is a lot stronger because there's no way the enemy can go except for like backwards or like basically into your hammer. They can't really go to the side, which is usually kind of what results in stamps getting shut down, is that people can just kind of, oh, a stamp is coming this way, I'm gonna swim to the side and I'm gonna shoot from the side. Which is also kind of what happened in the game we were looking
so
at.
stamp is useful for just really tight corners.
Exactly, yeah. Or just really like slim corridors or something like that. That's an example where it's really strong. It's also good in like some specific matchups because if we look at like, for example, shooters can sometimes shoot through it. Maybe we'll see it here. Yeah, not too much. This aim, it just shoots forward. The idea, like, you can shoot through hammer a lot if you just aim kind of at the feet of the hammer, and that is not what this dummy is doing, which is why it's not working here. But a lot of times shooters can kind of hit through, or like Hydras or just any weapons with high fire rate. So against those kind of weapons, Stamp is a bit weaker just because of that. At the same time, there are some weapons that flat out just can't do that. Sloshers, for example. Blasters are also really awkward. Anything with kind of a
Bamboo and
slower fire
paintbrush.
rate.
I only remember bamboo and paintbrush.
Yeah, bamboo can kind of shoot under
I
it as
can't.
well.
I mean,
But
I
yeah,
wouldn't doubt that, frankly.
yeah, it's weird. The hitbox is a bit janky and it is kind of really dependent on um like
Sometimes I think I
lags
would be
as well.
safe under a ledge just to randomly just get ran over.
Yeah, it's
I
a bit
have
awkward.
gold stamp badge
Hmm.
and I'm still letting you stuff despite having the gold hammer badge.
Yeah. Um, Something that's also fun to think about is like using the stamps kind of using this like first swing that you do when you're in the air and pop it.
You pop out, yeah.
That's like it's a bit faster than actually like starting the rush mode. So it can sometimes be a like faster kill option, especially if you're under a ledge or something like that. Yeah, that's just kind of some thoughts. The throw mode is a bit stupid. It has a really big explosion radius, as I'm sure you know. Um,
I've seen I've seen 270s just obliterate someone in the stamp challenge.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, there's actually there's one last fun thing that I want to bring up is if you kind of are in the rush mode and you want to stop being like rushing forward as much, you can kind of jump and hold backwards. Maybe that was a bad showcase because I've kind of turned.
I find it being downward.
But like sometimes you can like if you do that you'll stop rushing forward as much. And that can be really helpful when, for example, like popping Rainmaker field to stop you from actually like running into the field and taking damage. Or when fighting like against Stampers or something. Because what Splatanas can do is kind of like dash through the hammer and direct you. Maybe you've experienced that once.
Man, I don't run into Stamper pretty that often because it's just really hard to play, but I can see.
Yeah, it's like
I think I've
if
had
you
a roller crush me once, and then maybe mint slash right under it, maybe. Or
yeah,
like some
I can see
mental
that with Mint as
topple.
well. What kind of most Splatanas can do is just like if there's a stamp
Just
that's
aim at
rushing
the
at me,
feet.
you can like dash into them, and kind of like be so fast that the direct will hit you before like the stamp hitbox will actually like kill the sword, and then usually it'll be a trade.
And then they can shoot underneath it as well by aiming at the feet.
Yeah, for stampers that's not really that viable because the hitbox is kind of so big that it doesn't really work. But they can go for this kind of direct play, which is kind of where this technique is really fun, because sometimes you can bait stampers into doing that, to kind of try to direct you when you rush at them, and then you just stay back by using this technique for a while, and they get completely obliterated. Yeah, that's some fun things on Stamper.
I try to pick up Stamper, but it's way too slow for me.
Oh yeah. It's also just really difficult. It's not a very easy weapon. It's what I would call the most difficult weapon in the game.
Yeah, even mint I picked up on for a bit.
Okay. We were
If
kind
you're
of in the
around
middle here.
like 3:30 minute, 3:30. I want to say around that. Oh, I could totally be fine.
Oh wait, this is the second time you're here. Oh yeah, okay. Around here somewhere. Yeah, I think around here. It's not too important anyway. But yeah, just keep that in mind with Zamp. Is that you want to kind of just try to watch out that people don't get behind you. And like, to not pop it in situations where it's really easy for kind of people to get behind you, or like for the enemy team to split up and let one person bait you into rushing into them and the other one kind of flanks you and gets behind you. Sure. Nice, good. Similar kind of thing with Squid Search, but like it isn't really that important here since the enemy was really distracted.
It was yeah, man.
Yeah, this is a point where, okay, nice. Where I think we could have like helped and gone forward a bit faster.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to think a bit about why we do sharks like this. Like why like, or like when sharks are a good idea basically. Because
Like it would have been better to push forward because of the there's still a little bit of pain ahead.
yeah, exactly. So to talk about like when sharks are a good idea real quick. Actually I'm curious on what you think about that. On like when are sharks really, really strong? When is it really strong to just like stay in your ink and wait for enemies to get like close to
Me,
you?
just like for me, I try to wait. Like, say if this push dies early,
Mm-hmm.
I would try to wait until the enemy can regroup in the map because they think everyone's back.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's a really good time to do it. So I guess a bit more fundamentally, sharking is a really good idea when when the enemy wants to push up, when they want to go forward really fast. For example, after like your push dies, for example, they want to go and get back all of the space as quickly as they can. Because they've gotten a relatively good opportunity where they've gotten some good few picks, so they want to get important space on the map. And that's kind of the time where this is really strong, because you have a lot of paint left that you can shark in, and the enemy wants to move really fast, so they probably don't have as much time, or they don't want to spend as much time just kind of painting up all that area. And they'll basically run into you. That's the other part, is that if we like shark, like we can stay here, or just like somewhere in the ink maybe, while the enemy wants to retake all of mid. That is really nice. So like, because they will very likely like go past you, and they will likely just skip you. They will not think about you. They'll like kind of go into this area, and then you're suddenly behind them. You're in an area where they aren't looking anymore, and that's really, really, really strong. As opposed to kind of a situation like this, where you are the team that wants to push up, right? You kind of want, as a team, you kind of want to take most of this space, so it's safe for the tower to move forward. And that's kind of a time where I think sharking isn't the greatest idea anymore, because we actually want to make sure that we have all of this kind of space. And sharking isn't doing so too much right now because enemies aren't probably gonna run through this area anyway. Yeah, hope that makes sense. Yeah. Nice ammo with your teammate though. And then a good throw. Nice, good job on that. I'm curious, were you going for the tower jump here?
Yeah, I tried to go for the jump and then they
Yeah,
got me.
that
I'm
makes
just
sense.
I was like I wasn't even mad because I kind of expected that with the charger looking at the tower.
Yeah. That was a good play by the charter to watch that. Yeah, in some situations you just kind of have to watch out. That's like that tower jump is a really good idea if enemies aren't watching it. Because then you kind of
But
get into an area that you're kind of,
I
I
should
guess,
have
not
waited
supposed
a
to be in.
little bit longer for the jump to be easier.
Yep, exactly. If the charger like either fires the shot because like then you'd have a bit time, or like starts looking in different area, then that would work. Totally, exactly. Okay.
Um,
We really like this sharking spot.
I actually did a jump here.
Yeah,
That was
that's fun.
great.
Kind of curious that, like, it's interesting
I
to me
see
that the
the.
enemies don't like look at this area because a jump just kind of
I
came
was
into here before.
I was looking at the. I had seen the charger poke up a few like take a shot from their
Hmm.
from the right side. So that's why I stayed right there a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay.
But then I just wait for them to leave.
Yeah. I think in this specific case, we can just punish them right now. They're close enough, or like this point is close enough that we can hit them. So we can probably just like kill them right here without
Yeah,
like caring about them getting
I
past.
think I wait a little bit longer here.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, I
so,
think you let them pass first. Um, which is, I get the idea. But I think like sometimes, especially when enemies probably aren't in voice call, you can
when
just
they
like
are look,
pick them and then kind of
yeah,
get behind the other team still without them having a chance to know that you're there. Cause yeah, okay. Yeah, we actually don't
I
end up
was
getting the
right
pick here.
there.
Yeah,
I
that's
play
fine. That
sticks.
happens.
I'm not. I play sticks, so I
Mm,
don't.
yeah, that happens. Like, that's just normal. Sometimes you just don't hit a shot. Um,
Mhm.
I'm curious about Stick. Do you like, do you want to learn motion controls? Or do you have like
I
reasons
try
why you
motion
don't want to?
controls. I really, I play handheld most of the time,
Oh,
so I
okay.
really don't like moving back and forth.
Mm-hmm. I see. Um, yeah, that seems fine. Um, like competitively speaking, motion controls are a lot stronger.
A lot. Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. Um, it's just basically keep in mind when you're using motion controls that like, or like not using motion controls, that that is to some degree holding you back a bit, and that's fine. You can like either because you don't want to, or you have like other reasons, like um, it's making you motion sick or something like that. That are totally fine. Fine reasons to not use motion controls.
I
Um,
heard that they were
yeah.
having stick like that you can play with a computer mouse on the Switch too. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Um,
Honest, I'm interested in see how that
mhm.
changes thing, changes things up for S3, maybe S4,
Yeah. That's gonna be fun for sure.
because would that make would that make motion controls as strong as they are, or
Mhm.
would say the computer mouse do better?
Yeah,
Because maybe they
mhm.
add some aim assist for stick players
It's gonna
for
be
mouse.
interesting because like I don't think they'll add anything like aim assist, but mouse is like I think motion controls and mouse are really like relatively similar in how good they'd be. Um, just because like they're close enough in how accurate they are. Mouse is a bit more accurate, but at the same time, a lot of people are already used to motion controls, and this game's motion control system is actually really good, and is allows you to move your character or like your mouse basically your camera really effectively.
Um,
Um, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out in Splatoon 4 or like whatever they do with Splatoon on the Switch too. Because it's likely they'll add mouse controls, and it makes sense that they will, and I think it's good for the game that they will. Um, but it's also gonna be like interesting competitively.
like to make it playable as soon as like maybe like first 6 months, maybe a year with choosing out.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. In this match, we go for the opening on the right, where we just go fast. So that's good. Yeah. Same kind of like switch search thing that we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
be patient.
Yeah. At
I
this
was
point,
trying to be patient this time and not just run on it, and they had a scamper
yeah.
instead.
I think
And
at
this
this point we
yeah,
need to
this
watch
game
out.
was actually really aggressive because they had a brush as well.
Yeah. Um.
This is one of the more aggressive jets I've seen for a long time because I really don't see this weapon a lot.
Yeah. It's interesting because it can play a bit more aggressively if it wants to. It's not the best weapon at doing it, but like it can.
It, it had for this one they did more often than not
Mm.
because of the
Interesting.
bow.
Interesting, yeah. We'll see how that goes.
There's nothing wrong against them. I would say they did a great job,
Yeah, for
frankly.
sure. Um,
They
like
got me
definitely
a few
because
times. I'm not.
um, like in any kind of game, you shouldn't think so much about what your weapon does and more so think about like what the team needs. And in this kind of situation, this team already has another backline, so it makes sense for the Jet Squelcher to play more aggressively because that's what the team needs. But yeah, um, we have to watch out here a bit because we already showed our location to the enemy by doing this kind of squid search right here. The enemies will know that we're here. The sword sees us.
I think
I think the others see you as well. I'm not quite sure. They should have. So at this
they
point, being
should
here
have
is
hit
really
it.
dangerous because what the sword could do right now is just drop off and direct you. Um,
Yeah, that doesn't. I've had that happen a few times, but I've
mhm,
had that happen a few times, but I don't think they do that here, and I just back off.
yeah. I think they don't, or maybe they try to go for it but don't succeed. That will happen
They
more at like
probably
higher
try to
ranks.
wait for me to come back up and time it. I think that's what happens.
Yeah,
Try to wait
maybe.
for me to come back up.
Um, just be aware that like
Because
at higher levels, players will pick options like this more, where like as soon as they see
like if
you're
you
somewhere, they will be a lot faster at actually rushing you down and fighting you in situations where you don't want to be engaged. To like situations like this on this wall, for example, where you can't really do much if this stamper just decides to drop and direct you. So yeah, this is a bit dangerous. They kind of, yeah, they kind of,
like,
they kind of forget
just
about you.
forget.
Yeah,
I'm like, I was like, it can't be that easy, right?
object permanence moment. Yeah.
That's just
um,
objective moment right there.
yeah, that's interesting. Um, and kind of
At
got
least I get
distracted
a
by the
pick
tower, I
there.
guess. Um, team cleans up a lot, like
Oh,
really nicely though.
they did. They didn't. They got the first checkpoint, but that's about it.
Yeah, like the first checkpoint doesn't really mean that much. It's a checkpoint that's relatively easy to break. Um, yeah, okay. We could, mhm, sure, okay. That's kind of what,
I
kind of
mean,
a bit what I was talking about
yeah,
earlier of like
that's what we were
Stampers
talking
directing.
about earlier.
Yeah. Um,
I I said that happened a few. That happened, so I
yeah,
never denied it.
yeah,
But I said it happened, and I had a key wall right there. What happened?
okay. We go for the right flank again. Um, I guess
I think I
something,
like the.
go ahead.
I think I like the right side more just because if I know the on Rainmaker, a lot of people just like on your right side they stay there a lot. So I try to
Hmm.
auto bomb them if I'm using a well string or a point sensor if I'm
Hmm.
more often than not.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a nice flank because people tend to not watch it a lot of times. Keep in
Especially
mind
on
that
Rainmaker.
yeah, keep in mind that like at at higher ranks, people will probably recognize if you do this kind of flank all the time. Um, so if it's like a habit that people can realize that you do that so much, then they'll probably end up being able to punish you for that. For example, just by like sharking somewhere around here or like here, and then call you out for doing this so much. So sometimes it's a good idea to use like slightly different approach options as well. For example, like going through here and then like going
It's,
through mid or something, like maybe going up here, maybe
it's,
going up all the way around.
like, honestly, I find it hard to go through mid on this map with how congested it is in the middle,
Yeah.
especially on
Mhm.
especially on this mode with the special charge and everything.
Yeah. Especially like kind of this like top area is always really annoying to be in because it's so thin. And there's a lot of eyes on that all the time. Something that's really
And
nice is like the kind of lower mid area here. Because that tends to be an area that people sometimes don't look at as much. And like where you have a bit of basically cover for like enemies don't see you as much because like there's this big wall in the way. Um, which is why like being on the bottom right here can be really nice. And your weapon is really nice there as well because like Lunar Blaster is really strong under ledges. And you can punish a lot of people who don't respect that enough. Who like try to just like walk over this mid, try to kind of drop onto you. That's the stuff where Luna really excels at. Okay. I think we just traded here. Okay.
yep, you already said that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of surging, I just wait a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, and here the sword actually sees us. Probably. Okay, good job on
Yeah,
punishing them there.
I don't think they saw me. It's just more they fell off and tried to climb back up onto
Mm,
the wall.
maybe.
'Cause
Maybe.
I think, yeah, they totally didn't see me there.
Yeah.
They tried to climb back up on the wall, so I think that was just them not
Hmm. That's
just
weird, yeah.
making mistakes, getting caught out for it.
Probably. That's weird, yeah. And in any case, good case, like, good job on punishing them. Nice. Nice. Good job. Okay. Sure. Kind of similar thing about
As
what
you
we
can
talked
tell,
about
I like
before.
containables.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want containables.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, and I like, that's kind of something I brought up earlier as well. That is why I like spots like this a lot more than the one we were in before. Like, this one is a bit awkward because you can't really do anything. Um, Actually, right here is a
I'm
lot
not.
nicer. Because right here you're under this ledge, you're under a ledge where enemies are likely to be, and then it's likely that you'll be able
And
to
that's
punish them
an
if you
acid
do.
on here. And oh, there was two.
Some people slip behind us, but yeah, as the team we are able to fix that. Okay.
I get
Yeah.
I get caught off. I I just get caught off guard right there.
Yeah. I think it's a
I
case of like we took a while to readjust our camera to face like where enemies would be respawning from. Like
yes,
only
exactly.
around now we actually see
The
them, I
stamper
think.
painted over me and then got punished right over the stamper painted
Yep.
over me.
Um, so I think in this case it's a lesson of camera control, where it would be better
I
to
run
kind of look into the direction of where the enemies are gonna be faster. Because right now we
look
don't really
where
see anything,
yeah
right? Right now our
look where they
camera is
come
kind of
back sooner more than anything else.
yeah. So like right now our camera is positioned in a way where like we don't really see that much, or like we don't really see that much of what's important. We see a lot of this part of the map, but we don't really care about this part of the map right now.
I see the brush die, so I try to come back into onto
Yeah.
that left side right there, so I can just stay there and
Yeah.
see what
that kind of makes
happens. And I
sense.
didn't,
Um,
and then I just got
mhm.
caught off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we could have done a super jump here. On this map especially. Do you have stealth jump?
Yeah, I will stealth jump, but I try
Yeah,
to
you do.
avoid. I don't like jumping in often because I've been called out a couple times on stealth.
Okay. Um, I think it's something to
I
consider doing a
won't.
bit more because it's like it saves you a lot of time. Like instead of having to swim all this long way back into the actual action, it's a lot
Mhm.
faster to actually super jump. So if the jump is safe,
Especially if they're
then that is a good idea. You just have to make sure that the
especially if
jump is
they're
actually
two
safe.
down. It's pretty much just this situation at this point. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Um, and I think in in a situation like this, or like in the where we were a bit earlier, it would be a good idea to jump just because it is safe enough. Um, we like as a team we've gotten a good amount of picks. Like the only one whose life is really the brush, and that basically means like um, we can jump in without any threat basically. Cause who's gonna camp the jump? The brush isn't even close to that, and we can be relatively sure that they're not even close to that. We have a screen up as a team that's gonna hide the position even more. Um, it's just relatively safe in this context. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I see it.
so that's kind of the general idea behind super jumps, because when they're safe, they're really good, because it saves you so much time. We can kind of, if you want, we can kind of time how long it takes to swim back in, because
Oh,
it's gonna be a lot of time. We start at 2:14, I guess.
honestly,
And
I won't be back until two, maybe.
yeah, around 2.
Yeah,
We can say around 2, so that took us 14 seconds. Um, which in this game, 14 seconds is so much. And a super jump is about like 3 seconds maybe, at maximum. So we'd be here like so much faster. Um, and that's kind of why we try to do super jumps if we can. Because I like your intuition of like trying to stay safe with jumps, trying to make sure that we don't get punished for them. It's just that there's a lot of cases where we can actually jump that I think we're missing. Okay, good job here. Nice. Yeah, really good hammer throw there. Nice. I like that you like get off tower and let someone else try it here. Because your
I mean,
weapon is a
you have
lot
a
better at
custom
actually punishing
Hydra.
people.
You have a custom. You get Hydras both matched, and I'm like, you can just ride it at that point. I have no reason to.
Yep, exactly. Okay. We get a 2-for-1 trade, which is really good. Yeah, and in this case, swimming it
And
is
then
a
if
good
you,
idea. Because like they are, your team just all
then I
died,
go
right?
on to the left here. I try to hide right there, but I didn't want to come over it.
Sure, yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah, that works. Nice. Nice. Okay.
I just.
Yeah.
I got comboed there with the whatchamacallit.
The zipcaster.
The Zipcaster and the Sea Jet.
Yep. That, yeah. I think in that situation we
I
were
think I
kind of
was,
in a very open space, which led to us like being chipped by the C-Jet, and then we were a very easy target for the zipcaster. That just kind of happens sometimes. Like after you get 1 or 2 picks like you did there, it just sometimes happens that you're in a bad position. But like
Yeah, it's pretty
In
hard to.
overall, you like don't care too much, right? Because you still got 2 picks, and that's still really good. So like you can try to do the best of the situation that you're in, but at the same time, like you already got your value, so it's not too like you don't need to be too upset about then actually like going down there.
Hmm.
Um, okay. Um, nice. I like this. Like I like this approach a lot. This kind of going up this
Try
wall.
to. I try to get the. I get the jump right there. I think it was, and let everyone else deal with it. So they go 2 down here.
Yeah, that's a fine idea. I don't hate it because like even
And
now after that you can turn around, right? And you can still get them, which is exactly what you do. Um, like just punish the jump and then turn around to deal with the rest of the team. That's fine. You have a good enough lead that you can like afford to do that.
we can afford to give up a few points.
Exactly. Yeah. Then even though your entire team dies, you're still able to stop this push because you're behind. Nice, really good direct there.
That that trade was worth it right there at that point.
Yep, exactly. Okay, we'll take the flank again, sure.
Yeah,
All of them are on tower. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That wave breaker was so good. I'm just gonna give that custom junior their props. That wave breaker was in such a good spot.
Yeah. Um, yeah, in general, Wavebreaker on this map is actually a lot stronger than people
I
think.
put I put on the pillow that it's really good, like on the pillow right below.
hmm Yeah. Then they just all kind of stand around the tower
They
and
never
you're able to
all the
get that. Yep, nice. Okay. Um, one. Okay. Um, yeah. Do you have like any questions about something we talked about?
Not really. I just need to get better with stamp, frankly, because I try to rush in with him a lot.
Yeah. Um, okay. Yeah, I think we talked about that a good bit. Do you have like questions specifically about like how you should use stamp?
Not on how, but just to when, because sometimes I would try to use it only to die when
Okay.
I try to use
Yeah, okay.
it. I would mistime it, say,
Yes. Okay.
just safety.
Um I'll bring up some general points. For some of these, keep in mind that there are some use cases where it's probably best to break these like rules. But these rules are still like usually good and usually helpful and usually true. Just like with any kind of rule, it's there are some cases like where exceptions prove the rule. Um, but like what we can generally think about with hammer is that it's way stronger when there's something else already going on. That's something I talked about a bit earlier. It's like when teammates are already fighting somewhere, when teammates are distracting, when enemies are looking at teammates, then hammer is way stronger, just because like enemies don't have as much time to react, enemies don't have as much HP probably, they don't have as much paint, all of that kind of stuff. So the first one would just be like, first rule would kind of just be use hammer when teammates are already fighting someone, or like when teammates are drawing attention away, and enemies are distracted. So yeah, one is just use it on people who are distracted, and then
And actually make sure the girls.
yeah, so like this is a case where like you can either throw it, because that totally works, but you can sometimes also just rush in with it if enemies are distracted. So on something like Haggle, for example, I can maybe go into recon for that. I bring up Haggle a lot because it's a really like thin map, and so Hammer is a lot better there because there aren't as many options that people can use to shoot you down.
Yeah, it's in clams right now for series, but
Hmm.
I don't really think I want to take a handheld weapon in my life.
Yeah. So yeah. For yeah, it's way stronger when people are already kind of distracted, and that goes for like both the throw mode and the rush mode, because on this map, for example, if there's a teammate flanking on the left right now, then we can be pretty sure that if there are any enemies like around this area, that they're probably going to be watching the right flank, that they're going to be looking at this and trying to keep enemies out of this flank. And that would then be a really good time to pop Hammer and just say, I'm going to rush into you now, because you are probably not looking at me, you're probably looking at someone else. So like, this kind of rule applies to both throwing and just rushing in. And then the other thing would be to just use like other specials or other resources that your team has. So, for example, what you could do is pop Hammer when like a teammate is popping Booyah Bomb. So then that the like explosion of the Booyah Bomb kind of acts as a smoke shield for your Hammer, and that allows you to use Hammer more safely, to be in a position where you can't really get shot from behind because like there's a Booyah Bomb where you are. So like that applies for a lot of specials that kind of displace enemies. So strikes work the exact same way. Something like Whale, like Killer Whale, would also work really well, because it gives you a lot of chip damage that you can work off of, and it makes people like they have to move around in a certain way to avoid the Killer Whale, and they have to kind of look at the Killer Whale and be worried about the Killer Whale, and that's a good time to just kind of run in with the hammer and say, hello, worry about me, and worry about me and the Killer Whale that's going on, and hopefully the 3 other teammates that are kind of running at you. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the 2 most important things, in addition to just like positioning, because again, like this kind of position right here is like really fun for Hammer, because like what are people gonna do if there's an enemy right here and you pop Hammer at them? The only thing they can really do is jump out.
I think I want pretty much watch the right side and use it when. I think I have one more thing I want to look at. Just looking at my past things. Speaking of well strings.
Like one more replay code, you mean?
Yes, I was just looking at my old battles and I was like, I could probably use some well string advice.
Okay. We can go through that really quickly, yeah. I don't want to drag it out too long, but we have a bit more time, so sure.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
I sent it in the chat.
Mhm.
If you need a photo in DMs, I can instantly send you.
Where did you send the game? I don't see it right now.
I had sent it in the normal chat, but I'll just take a photo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
that's
could just send it to us, then that's a lot easier, I think.
yeah. I had tried to take it, and my phone was like, "Nah, bro."
Ah, I see.
All right,
Um,
all right. I just sent it. Okay, come on. All right. I have an older phone, so sorry about that. It lagged a little bit here and there.
Let's get that real quick.
Hammer low string.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
I've tried to play hammer low string more, and it just does not click with me as often as despite this one having a good KD ratio, this one does not really cook with me as more often as the normal kit does
Mhm.
the custom kit.
Yeah, that's fair. I think both of them have their merits. I personally really like the custom kit just for having so much location tools. And that's like really,
Yeah,
really fun.
alright. And then I have one more match, but we can just do that the next time
Yeah.
because I want to keep it here too.
Um, double try, double try. Okay. So yeah, the first thing in this case is that like we should think about if we want to get pop as a team, and playing Wellstring you always want to get pop.
I
Um,
always use object creators, so I don't even.
yeah. So yeah, good choice in going for it. You can just basically always do that.
I see the try on the left. I see the try on the right.
hmm Okay, yeah. Good job punishing everyone who kind of tries to run in and run with the Rainmaker.
Like
Um, mhm.
I'm trying not to do anything too crazy there. I think I should have died there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure, that kind of works for Hammer. We don't quite get this person, but actually we do. Nice, good job. Um,
I was like, I get that it was bigger, but I didn't even expect to get him there.
mhm. Okay, what I'd say right here is that I think we should use our main weapon a bit more as opposed to the sub-weapon. So like right here, for example, we throw a lot of auto bombs when just using the main weapon would be really strong right now.
Yeah.
Because the kind of arrows, like first of all, they'd contest pop quite effectively, but also
Like they have a
they'd like
short
force the
range
enemies.
comp.
Yeah.
They have a short range comp, so I'm just trying to throw bombs so they can just back off, while we can let our apples, squelchers, and Jiri go on.
Yeah. The thing is just like your
Because
arrows do a very similar thing to that, and they're a lot more ink efficient. Um,
yeah,
because like
I
they
see it.
also create opportunities for your team. You also like you don't like you outrange the enemy anyway, so you don't need your bomb for that. Um, and kind of the arrows create like honestly even a big of a larger distraction for the enemy, like that they can't be there, that they're gonna be
Yeah,
chipped if they are there. Um,
because three of them one shot, right? If
um, uh,
if not all three of them, then it has to be all five.
I'm not quite sure if it's 3 or 4 that one shot right now. Um, I think they do
I
30
would.
damage, but maybe they do 35. I'll
I
check
think the one
after
shot.
this in lobby real quick.
I think if you hit the one shot, like all the rings match, that's the one shot. But if you hit like all five bullets, I think you hit the one shot, one all five bullets
Yeah,
match.
yeah, definitely. So, definitely, like, as soon as you hit 4 or more bullets, like, 4 or more of the arrows explode, that definitely kills. Um, I don't quite know the exact damage numbers right here. Um,
And
mhm.
I didn't mean to say anything.
Okay. Yeah, right here we don't need to back up. Or at least not that
I
far.
was. I had thought they were gonna drop the Rainmaker just to get it out, so that's why I kind of backed up a
Mm,
bit.
yeah. That wouldn't be
They
the
had.
best play for them in this situation. Um,
I mean, it would have because we were right by the checkpoint, so I figured they could just drop it on
yeah,
the right, so that's when we get the checkpoint.
yeah, but just kind of stalling it is probably a lot more effective for them. Dropping
Yeah,
Rainmaker off into the pit always means like that you like give up your life for it, that you are okay with uh like respawning and being a player down until the Rainmaker like respawns basically. So it's not the best play. Like sometimes it's really valuable just to stop a push, especially when the push like gets really far.
Yeah,
But some like
especially like
it's not
now.
always useful. Cause like right,
Especially like now, yeah, because they've done a really good job of just holding it and keeping it pushed and on the back burner.
exactly. Like right now it would have been a bad idea. Like they do a good job of like just stalling with the Rainmaker, and they didn't need to drop it here because like they still have it. They still have control. They actually got a lot of control back. So dropping the Rainmaker was like wouldn't have been a good idea there. But yeah, we didn't need to back up as far just because like our position was safe. And if our position is safe, then we don't need to back up. Like just as a general rule. Again, like there's more depth there. And there are some situations where you do want to back up. But like generally speaking, we can say that if we have a position and we aren't threatened, then we don't need to back up. And
I
yeah.
actually see someone trying to come up. It looks like it was a Julie that just came up.
Yeah. So in this case, like I think your positioning is a lot better, where you just kind of try to stay in areas that are relatively safe for you. Yeah. For like stamp throws like this, again, keep in mind that it's way better when like enemies are distracted,
Yeah.
or when like you have a very clear target. Because right there, just throwing it somewhere will sometimes get picks because the hitbox is so big. But in a lot of cases, it won't actually do too much because
I had
yeah.
I had missed time.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah. So like it would have been like really nice in a situation like this, for example, or like 2 seconds ago, where like your teammate was fighting this try, or like the Rainmaker is trying to push right here, and we know that the Rainmaker's there. And right here it would
yeah.
have
I'm
been really
also
useful.
wearing I'm wearing thermal wings, so
Yeah, it's
you can
interesting.
probably see it.
Yeah, I can see that. Most competitive players wouldn't, just because it's like it doesn't actually apply if only the arrows, like if the arrow explosions only hit. It only applies if you actually hit with the projectile itself.
Like I would only hit one bullet. Like on custom motion, this helps a lot. So if I hit one bullet, then I could just mark them and get it.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I don't think it's
Like
it's
I kind of
competitively the best choice, but then again, like if it works for you, then it works for you. So, yeah.
yeah. I've done a lot of high KDs because of more like assist because of that. Let me say that. Let me correct. More like assist.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, this hammer right here. I don't think I think I went. Did I go back far enough? Yeah, I did. Again, this hammer right here didn't really have a clear-cut target, and that's why it failed. Or like didn't get any picks.
I seen the try slashes, so I figured I could just take my shot.
Yeah, I see that. Just because there's already a fight
And
going on here. It's not a bad idea. I think it's just a bit too slow. Like keep in mind that the hammer projectile is relatively slow. It will take a while before actually being there, and in the meantime, the enemy will be able to move away, and that's actually what happens.
if
So
anything, I
you kind
probably
of have
had
to
each
predict where
list.
enemies go a bit in some cases. So like we could have technically probably predicted them going right here. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, good job, like, just killing people right here. You're doing a good job with your main weapon.
I think they reset it here actually. So.
I think it just reset by itself, like it was just left around for a
Yeah,
while.
and then I think they picked it up by accident.
Yeah,
Right
this, like,
there.
this dually players has been just running in a lot, and just picking up the Rainmaker a lot. I don't know why. It's not the good choice to do that, but it is what they're doing. Um,
I try to go for the left check,
yes.
and I get picked off.
Okay.
It's
Basically
because
never go for the left
they've been
checkpoint. Um,
I,
I say
yeah,
basically
they've been
because
watching that
sometimes you
right
can.
one the entire time. So like, you probably just go to the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I get the idea. Right is just
Yeah,
a lot easier to actually push. Um, because we'd only need to like get this player out, and if all of the team just kind of try to push in here, that would happen. The problem with this push in specific is that it's over grades. And walking over
yeah,
grades is really, really slow, and it's also really dangerous. So we can kind of see that happen here, is that you get shot through the grades, because you're a really vulnerable target there. You can be shot like literally from every side, from below, from the side, from above, from in front, from behind. Um,
yeah. The thoughts there, the passing is
yeah. So that's why kind of this push is usually really, really dangerous, is because it's really slow and it's really dangerous, which is kind of what we see here. Is that we get picked off by the splat dualies, even though they like kind of
if
dived in.
anything. Yeah, they died for it, but I think I was the better one.
Yeah, like for them, just trading here was good. Um, it probably stops the checkpoint. Yeah, it does. Um, and like now it's also really difficult for your team to push this Rainmaker any further, right? Because if we have it somewhere over here, then we can actually relatively clearly say like we've already gone a lot of the way, we just need to go a bit further. If it's over here, that's really awkward because like you still have to walk all these grades, which is still really dangerous. Yeah. Okay, sure. Good trade.
On that second death, I was like, wait, how did he die?
Mm,
I, when it first happened, I was in looking to the Neo Splash, I came like, I'm in one.
mm-hmm. Nice. Really good job on trapping your teammates here. And I
I was
like
like,
that you like backtrack as well, just to make sure that there's no one there. Um,
I think
like,
I think Disclosures actually got the checkpoint right there, since
oh, that's fun.
they had two down.
Hmm.
I think I think that's what happened. I was like, we got the checkpoint, cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Wait, need to go back further. Somehow that happened. I don't know how, because it seems weird, but it did somehow happen. Oh, the devils like gets past them. That's fun. Um, okay.
I thought that was Disclosures. Okay.
um, yeah, this is I like what we're kind of doing right here. Just kind of staying low. I guess in this specific case, it's another case of like our main weapon would have done a lot of damage if we used it instead of using a sub weapon. Um, because again, like we can fire over this
That,
kind of checkpoint very safely, and the arrows will be very
yeah,
annoying for the Rainmaker. Like they'll paint their feet, they'll paint the pedestal maybe even a bit. They'll do a lot of damage and kind of just slow people down in trying to get the checkpoint. While the autobomb just
yeah.
really
I was
doesn't do that.
not gonna lie. I was more worried about Diamond Splash than I thought.
Um,
So I was trying not to do anything ridiculous.
yeah, I think just firing over the checkpoint would have also stopped the splash from running in, because they don't really have as much paint here, and you can kind of see them in your thermal ink as well. But I get trying to play safe. It's just like I think with the main weapon that would have been a lot better. Um,
Yeah.
mhm,
But then I just used to
nice. Yeah, good use of the hammer here. I would have stayed in rush
click
mode
on this.
there just to make that kill a
I
bit safer. Oh, this is awkward. Okay.
yeah, I think we dropped. Yeah, we dropped it right there.
Uh-huh. Okay. That works, yeah.
I think the drop right there is actually the worst thing.
Um,
I try to hold it for a bit this time. Yeah, still not much.
Yeah, I just kind of wait until you have an easier target. Um, so you can kind of like,
I mean, pull it out and just hold it a bit, to be fair.
yeah. I just not pop it until you have like clear target you can use it on.
Yeah,
I think you kind of have a bit of the habit of just I get special, I'll use it immediately. You can hold that. You can like it's not an idea to just hold your special for a while to get in a better like time to use it. So like right here, for example, it's be like helpful right here, for example, because the enemies are pushing into new territory, and that's the time where we
that's
can punish them very
true.
easily. Yeah. Oh, we almost don't lose lead. That's crazy. That was really close there.
And we just
Um,
hold it right here.
yeah, we can just stall the Rainmaker at this point. We don't need to move forward. We can actually move
Yeah,
back if we want to. Um, like we don't need to kind of stay in this area where we could technically get picked. We can just move into our base if we wanted to.
yeah. I get two picks right there, and then the assist on the last
Yeah.
person right there.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have questions on like Wellsling or Hammer? Anything else?
If anything, I just need to not use my hammer immediately when I'm using Welshring. I think that's what my
Yeah.
deal is.
Yeah.
I throw it, and then it's too predictable because it's how
Mm-hmm. Yep.
projectile is.
Yep. I'd agree on that. I think just like as general pointers, just try to wait to use your special in like uh in situations where it would do a lot more damage, where it'd be like a lot easier to get picks with it. And then the other point is just like use your main weapon more, it's really broken.
Yeah,
So just kind
I'm
of
the
peppering
custom
areas
kid.
with
I
arrows is
actually
really
do
broken.
use the main a lot.
Yeah.
I can send you my build for a custom low string,
Um,
and
yeah, I don't think that's too necessary. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, what I kind of saw in that game is that you like just used your sub weapon to poke a lot, which is not bad. Like Autobomb is a good weapon to like kind of scout out areas to see if where enemies are.
and plus it's annoying for them. I think they found it annoying that a backline had a bomb that they can just poke at them with.
Maybe, yeah. It's just like
Because I
keep
I
in
would
mind that
personally find that annoying that like if I was those tries I would have found that annoying if I'm fighting someone just want a random auto bomb show up every 5 seconds.
yeah, just keep in mind that like your arrows do a very similar thing and to some degree do it more effectively just
Arrows
because you
the
can
arrows do a
send
lot of
more of
damage,
them.
yeah.
So like autobomb is good and the autobomb is annoying for the enemy, but also the enemy can decide like more or less when the autobomb explodes by like moving into the radius of the autobomb and then moving away. You can like maybe see it with these. Well, not really. But basically like to some degree enemies can decide where the autobomb explodes and when it explodes. And that's something that they can't do with your arrows. If you throw an arrow, like throw a shot with your main weapon into an area, you will know for sure that enemies who are in there will get chipped and will have to move away. Or they will probably just die. And that's really useful. And it just puts paint on the ground as well, which is also really nice. Like this paints a lot. And paint is just really
Yeah.
useful for your team to move up with.
I've like for me on the wave breaker kit I play more of like a backline so I can I hold my wave breakers and whatnot.
Yes.
This one I just kind of just chuck it because I probably know I can get it.
Yeah. That's true. Like, yeah. I think it's still just wait a bit longer for good opportunities to use your special. Yeah. I think that's kind of the main points.
Yeah, it's 190p, so I'm like, oh, I can get plenty of hammers. So
Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah, anything else?
really, that I can think of. I have one more match I want to do,
Yeah,
but
I
it's just
think,
gonna
yeah,
take too long.
yeah. I think that's a good point to end it then. I usually like to do coding sessions, like to aim at around 1.5 hours, because I feel like after that people can't learn anything anymore. It gets to a point where there's been so much input that it's like rough to pick anything else up.
Yeah, and I have a with the you play still hold on for the next season
Wait,
because I
what do
have
you
a
mean?
match I came like I have one more that I want to do, but it came early in the season, and I don't know if it holds.
Oh, yeah, probably not. So like in any kind of patch, the older replay codes don't work anymore. So if it's from before the last patch, then it wouldn't work. Um,
This
yeah,
this just came really early in the season, so
okay. That should then still be fine. Um, okay. I'll yeah, we'll
I
see.
mean,
When I
I
have
mean
time
I've
to
got
kind of
all
look at that.
day, so I have all day, so I'm
Mm,
not sure if you have the time or whatnot to do that. So we'll
yeah.
see.
Um, Probably not, at least not today. If you want, you can send me the game, and then I'll try to look at it like, in the next few days at some point. Just on my own, and then I'll give you, like, feedback through text. Um,
Yeah, I was just gonna send it through that DMs.
yep, that totally works. Um,
Trying to pick it
but at
up,
least
but
for today, I think that's, yeah. I think that should
try
be
to
enough.
pick up.
Okay.
We're trying to pick up the just the Wall Street more in general for outside of Rainmaker because I just use it just Rainmaker only.
Yeah. And I get that because it's a really stupid weapon in Rainmaker. But yeah, just kind of
Like I
experiment with it. If it's a fun weapon
like
for you, then
zones net
by all means play it in other
like
modes as well.
yeah, I think so. But I want to play the zones next, but it's Wahoo Will and Mullen Airport, and frankly, that's not really my. And I don't have X unlocked, so I'm just stuck with the 3 normal mode.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe I can do some for the monthly challenge, but that's
yeah. There'll
next
be a
Saturday, I
rotation where
think
you
it
can
is.
play it at some point. Okay. Um, I
Series has Rainmaker next, but that series I don't care for.
I think like series can still be good practice. Um, for that kind of stuff. Wahoo Marlin, yeah. Yeah, that's rough. Okay.
I mean, Wahoo's fine. It's Mullen I don't really care for.
Mm,
Because it's just a helpful layout, realistically.
yeah. It's both
I
of the
can't
maps are somewhat
see.
playable. It's just like, I don't know.
Like, I
It's up
just
to you if you
avoid
do it.
Mullen in general because I
I
don't
see.
really care for them.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to fix some other things for the stream. So,
Alright,
yeah. If you have any other questions,
yeah.
then feel free to DM me with that, or like DM me the replay code, and maybe you actually did. No, not yet. And I'll take a look at that when I can.
Yeah, and then maybe if you look at it, say you have time like tomorrow, we could probably upload a set like a VOD of this the second match tomorrow.
Sure. If I have time, I can do that.
To
Yeah.
have like a double. We can have like you can have like a double upload this week. Realistically,
Maybe if I find the
you
time. I don't
farming
have
for
as much time
content.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Just because I have a lot of
you farming.
other responsibilities as well.
Yeah,
Like stuff around the beginners academy, mostly. But I'll see when I find time. I'll let you know.
you farming for content. I don't mind. Not like I do anything most days,
Mhm.
despite working. Despite working.
Okay. Um, yeah, I will. I will send you like a feedback form in a second. But for now, I need to quickly troubleshoot some stuff on the stream. So thanks a lot for like volunteering or like being on stream. I hope you were
Man,
able to learn and that the session helped you.
man, I was hoping you would. I don't really know if you find this stuff, but I actually like doing this type of stuff, so I can actually go back and watch back. Honestly,
Yeah, the VOD will be up. Yeah. Um, I can send you the link
I
as well, but
I
it'll
found
just be on
you.
my channel.
Yeah, I found you on YouTube. I was like, oh, maybe I can see how this goes. And honestly, I had a good time. I'm not
Mhm.
sure about you.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
I,
Yeah, it went well.
I
I
really,
have fun coaching.
really hoping for a person to coach, but everyone's got their own thing these days, and I'm not losing passion.
Yeah. Um, there's not that many coaches in our community. Um,
Yeah, especially at my low level, I think I'm like D11, D10, that in the low level.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, I guess just keep looking. Um, keep like keep posting stuff in like looking for coaches channels. Keep looking and looking for coaching channels. Are you in the like Splatoon coaching and peer review server that I have linked in like the server we're in right now?
Um,
It should be like in FAQ, I think. There's a link to that server.
when
That's
I'm
something where
in
like mhm,
I'm in the under pressure in the stronghold one, and then the free agent, the recruitment and free
okay.
agency.
Um, I'll just send you the link in DMs again. That one, like the Splatoon coaching and peer review server, is a nice one where you can like kind of find other people who are like similar to you in skill level that you can kind of look together at game set and just like get their opinion on what's going
All right,
on.
all
Um,
right.
and then
I
maybe
just
get
got it.
coach
Okay, it
look at
just
coaching
take.
as well.
All right, and then I'll send you
hmm Okay.
that code whenever we get off here because my phone is hot. So,
hmm Okay. Um, but yeah, if you have no other questions, then I
if I
would
have any
I would
questions,
dip here.
I'll send you a DM.
Okay, sounds good. Um, yeah, thanks a lot for being around. Hope you had fun and
Thanks,
have a nice evening.
thanks for having me on. You too.
Okay. Okay, I'll try to fix the Twitch thing now. I'm assuming the bitrate is too high, or like the server I'm streaming to right now doesn't accept this bitrate, because Twitch's bitrate is so annoying. um, Twitch doesn't accept bitrates over a certain limit. Um, and, and sometimes it's annoying for Splatoon specifically, because Splatoon requires a high bitrate. Otherwise, it doesn't look so bad. What bitrate am I streaming at right now? Right now it's 7600. Okay. 7600. Yeah. Um, I'll go down to a bit lower than 6000, and that should hopefully work. At least for now. Twitch does have funny emotes. Okay. Does the Twitch stream work now? It does, yes. Just looks terrible because it's such a low bitrate. That's annoying. I thought that the bitrate that I streamed at was like in practice fine. That in practice, like even though Twitch has like servers that only support 6,000 bits per second, that there are servers that are like most servers that I'd stream to in Europe would support 8,000. That's annoying. Is it still frozen? Really? Still frozen? What the f- Angry Fisk noises. Now Twitch is being unreasonable. Unless I didn't like hit apply. Maybe I didn't hit apply. That could be. No, I did. Wow. Wow. Unless I don't have my... Wait, I don't have my LAN cable in right now. So maybe that's the problem? That my internet isn't keeping up? And now my whole PC is not keeping up. Okay, you guys just spam anything funny in chat as soon as the stream works, okay? I'll I'll try to fix it. $5,600 apply. Okay. Reloading the Twitch. Because to YouTube it works, right? Like to YouTube there's not any issue at all. Does it work for YouTube? Does it work for YouTube? It does work for YouTube. Why? Why? Why is Twitch so mean to me? That is so not nice. Wow. Wow. I'll try to go down with the bitrate even further, I guess. Even though at this point I should comfortably be with like under 6,000. I guess I could restart stream. I don't know how much I care at this point, because like the main part of the stream is over. But it's so weird. Was it frozen throughout the entire time, or was it like a black screen and like an error code? Because I think it was an error code, right? And now it's just frozen. Wait, but now it kind of works, I think. Does it kind of work? No, it doesn't. Wow. I think it's just a Twitch issue, if I'm honest. Because like the YouTube stream works fine. So it's very likely just Twitch being silly. And that's nothing I can do about. And that's not something where Twitch should change anything. It's already frozen. Okay. That's awkward. Yeah. I'll see if I can fix it sometime in the next days. Because I'd wish for that to not happen in the next stream. Because it is a bit annoying when that happens. I couldn't like deal with it during the coaching session right now because I was focused on the coaching session. and I know that troubleshooting stream can take a while, so I didn't want to interrupt it for that long. I don't know. I'll try to fix it in some other time, I guess. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the stream being scuffed. I hope it'll be good in future.